Today we have to look at experiment number 3. In this experiment, what we have to do, we have to look at the effect of air on the heat transfer rate. So basically we have to look at the free and forced convection in this experiment. What we will do, but before that I'll introduce to the equipment we have to use. This is the Saltic free and forced convection heat exchanger apparatus. This apparatus is used to basically study the different effects in convection and convection heat transfer. HE106, that's the model number. On the right side you can see the different controls, and on the left side you can see the vertical test section. On the top of this test section there is a fan. This one is basically acrylic sheet. To see the bottom, you can see here this one is a fin plate. Right now the plate have cylindrical fins, as you can see, and on the and along these fins there are 3 temperature sensors: T1, T2, T3. These temperature sensors basically tells you how the temperature varies along the fins. So T1, T2, T3, and there is another temperature sensor TH or T5 on the panel. So these temperature sensors basically gives you the temperature of the base plate. Right? You can see this one is another type of fin plate. You can see this one is a triangular shape of the fins. So TH is basically the temperature of this bottom one base plate, and T1, T2 and T3 gives you the temperature along the fins, how the temperature varies along the fins. So I have another plate as well with this module. That's a flat plate. On the right side you can see different controls on the display. So first of all I'll turn on the main switch and then the heater power, and you can see the different controls on the right side, right? This knob here is basically to control the speed of the air or the speed of the fan. So if I rotate this knob in clockwise direction, so the air speed will increase. As you can see on the display, the fan have been switched on. You can so I can feel the air. So I can increase the velocity from this one. That's the maximum, 1.9 or 2 meter per second. And this one is a temperature selector. Right now it's T1. T1 is basically the temperature along the fins, the first temperature along the fins. So this one is T2, the second temperature along the fins. T3, third temperature along the fins. T4 is basically the ambient temperature. You can see this T4 is basically installed in the ambient air. So T4 is basically T8 ambient, and T5 is the base plate temperature. So I'll keep the temperature selector at the T5, and I'll set the heater power at 20 watt. And I'll wait until the equilibrium is established. So basically I have to look at both modes, free convection and the forced convection. So in the first part, what I have to do, I'll measure the temperature of the base plate in the free convection module. So it's 20 watt and 32.3. I'll wait until the temperature of the base plate gets stable. So that will be my first reading, and I'll again set it at 30 watt, and I'll again measure the temperature at 30 watt of the base plate, and then I'll set it at 40 watt, and then I'll again measure the temperature of the base plates. So I'll get 3 readings of the base plate temperature at 3 heater power inputs. So that will give me the idea of the temperature of the base plate in free convection module. So I can get these values for the free convection module. For the forced convection, what I'll do, I'll turn on the fan and set it at a particular velocity. So I can set it at 1.5 meter per second. Okay, this one is at 1.5 meter per second. So I'll again set the heater power at 20 watt, 30 watt, 40 watt, and I'll again measure the temperature of the base plate at these 3 power inputs. So these 6 values, 3 in case of free convection and 3 in case of forced convection at the same power input, gives me the behavior of this plate, or tells me and gives me the idea that how the heat transfer rate is affected by the forced convection. So you have to compare the values for both, for the free convection and for the forced convection, and then you have to discuss in the discussion section. Okay, that's it. Any question you can ask in the discussion session. Moreover, you can also measure the temperature of these 3 temperature sensors T1, T2, T3. So to get the idea how the temperature varies along the pin. So but the T5 or the TH is the basic ones for your experiment. You can perform this free and forced convection experiment with any of these 3 plates. You can use this triangular fin types, or you can use with a flat plate. The behavior will be the same. You will see that as the in case of forced convection, and what you see in case of forced convection and the free convection gives you the idea how the heat transfer rate is affected by the air velocity. So another part I forgot to tell you before, this one is an anemometer. So this green one is introduced here. So this device here is basically measure the air velocity or the air speed. So I'll plug it out for you. So you can see here there's a hole and there's a wire in it. So as the speed through this wire increases, so the resistance of that wire changes accordingly. That change in resistance gives me the value of the air speed or the velocity. So make sure you keep it in the right way. That's it. Any question you can ask in discussion section. Thank you. So you have to write the report for this one. You have to basically go on for the introduction or the objective of the experiment, and then you have to describe the apparatus and then the procedure, and then you have to also describe the theory, the basic theory related to that, and then you have to discuss the results, discussion, and the conclusion. The format has been uploaded in your class material session, so you can look at that. Thank you.